And we are back, folks, with another edition of the Michigan Recruiting Insider and our first commitment of the week. With us here on the Recruiting Insider, glad to be joined by Mr. Jaylen Pile. Without further ado, this is long overdue, as a matter of fact, because my man, Brandon Williams, shout out to B. Will, one of my fellow Wolverines, went to Michigan with him. He's been telling me for a long time. He said, Sam, you got to get Jaylen on. You got to get Jaylen on. Well, finally in studio, so welcome, young man. How are you?
I'm doing great, sir. Thank you for having me, man.
So this is long overdue. Congratulations on becoming a Wolverine.
Yes, sir, man. Sometimes it don't even feel real, man. I love this place.
Yeah, so let's go back to what it was that led you to that decision, that made you know that now is the time, and now this is the place that you want to be.
It kind of started when, they first offered me. So when Coach Moore kind of got in the house and they were all still getting their things figured out, Coach Bellamy, I was one of the first guys he offered. And, that just meant a lot to me because this is like one of the schools that I've, always wanted to see and always wanted to be a part of. And just having him calling me at school one day and, being like, we want you to be a Michigan man, like that just changed my entire day. I was like, there's no way this is real. And, that just carried with me. And, being able to go to the games, coming up for that barbecue in the summer, finally getting to, work with Coach Bellamy, seeing how he coaches and being in the meetings with him and kind of seeing why everybody else has kind of bought into this, program. And then really what did it for me was, just watching the games. Like seeing the games and seeing how they interact with the players and seeing how they coach in those game time situations and how Coach Bellamy coaches the receivers, how Coach Moore is, he's not just a guy that just sits in one spot for the practice. He's sticking and moving, talking with everybody, making sure everybody's heard, seeing things. And, really just like that family kind of aspect, like drew me into what I wanted to be in. I want to be a Michigan man.
See, man, I know listening to you, that is levels to your decision because stats-wise, like none of what you said in looking at last season would add up, right? For a receiver anyway.
Yep.
But clearly, all the other elements of what you said, from how the coaches interact with the players, how the players interact with one another, that there were no fractures in the team when things weren't going well, all of that does add up. And those sound like the elements that help you make the decision.
Oh, yes, sir. Always sticking with that process. You see flashes of it, and, they were playing with what they had. You know what I'm saying? They were talking about they needed, more explosive receivers, somebody who can get the ball out there. And, sticking with it, they got all of those people. And, I want to be a part of that. And they got a new OC, Chip Lindsey. So, you know what I'm saying? Like that, he came down to the school, talked to him for a while, and he said, man, we're opening up that playbook. Mm-hmm. We're going to air it out. They're already scared of the run game. So now we got to make them scared on all levels. And, just seeing that, and I was able to go to a practice, and I truly believe that because both quarterbacks, Jadyn Davis and Bryce, are spinning the ball, and the receivers are getting open, and it's just like everything's coming together. So that's kind of showing like why I bought in.
Yeah, man. So we'll build up to that. Your thoughts on Jadyn, your thoughts on Bryce, right? Your thoughts on Coach Lindsey, but I don't want to talk about them right now. I want to talk about you.
Yes, sir.
I want to talk about your game and what you bring to the table. So let's go back to the Jaylen Pile before you were the big-time recruit, right? And your early days when you hit the field, and there had to be a time where you kind of realized, wait a minute, I'm just, not to brag, but I'm a little bit better than these other guys. When did you start to realize that?
I've always carried myself with a different standard, being the son of an NFL player, being around the game since I was born. My first word was ball, so that's all I kind of knew. And, just me carrying myself higher kind of made me feel like, okay, I can do some things that these kids can't, and I got to keep doing these things because I knew what the process looked like, and I knew like what I wanted to do since I was young. So I was like, all right, if I'm doing this and they're doing this, I got to keep getting better and keep elevating. And so it was really probably like my third ever football game. When we were young, they don't really throw that many passes. And I think I had like a pick and a pick six. And I was like, okay, I can track this ball pretty good. And I had like receiving touchdowns. And you probably seen little kid games. They hitting it off their chest. They're not catching the ball. And I'm catching them. And they had me playing quarterback too. And I was throwing them pretty well. I was like, okay, I think I can do this for real. And, you know, it just kept going like that, and it kept elevating, like I said before.
All right, and so then you get older, you get bigger, and then you start catching the attention of colleges. Now it's real.
Yes, sir.
So when did the scholarships, when did the offers start coming?
My freshman year. So I finished my freshman season. I had a pretty good year. Got pulled up to varsity at the end for playoffs, and, you know, was going up against those guys in practice, and, you know, just kind of seeing how, like, that different speed and different, you know, type of game it is, jumping from being a 14-year-old freshman to going up against some 18-year-old seniors. And, you know, after the season, I was doing a workout, you know, and a school that, you know, very close with my dad, you know, they called him, and he got on the phone, and it was Virginia Tech, and I think it was February of my freshman year, and they're like, man, we love your film, we love seeing you, and, you know, if we're finally ready, you know, pull that trigger on you, you know, offer you. So that's kind of when I started seeing, like, this hard work actually pays off, because nobody sees what you do behind those closed doors, you know. Workouts get posted, this, that, and the third, but it's what you do when there's no cameras on you and how you carry yourself without those cameras. And, you know, that was, you know, a good feeling for me, because it's like really that hard work paid off. And you're not just doing it just to do it, you're doing it for a real purpose. And that purpose and goal was getting met that day. And, you know, I was like, I love that feeling, but I was like, I want more. I don't want to just be satisfied. This is cool and all right now, but I want to keep pushing myself to be the better player I know I can be.
So was it always one of those things for you? Because, you know, as you get older, your eyes for the world start getting bigger. You start looking at, okay, I can see a world outside of my city. I can see a world outside of my state. When did you start to envision, wait, maybe I can go to school outside of Texas? Or were you always looking at the world like that?
Me personally, I was always looking at the world like that. You know, I just really want to go where I can make an impact early and ball out. So if it happened to be in-state, then it was in-state. If it happened to be out-of-state, it's out-of-state. I don't have any allegiance to, you know, any type of state that I'm in. I just want to go and play football. So from the beginning, I was like, okay, I can see it. And with my first couple of, you know, offers, they were kind of, you know, east, west, north, south. So I was like, okay, I can be a little national, you know, type of guy, and I didn't have to stay in state, and I could go and branch out and, you know, have a change of scenery.
So was it easier for you? Because I think one of the tougher things for kids going through the recruiting process is separating the real from the fake, right? You know, all these coaches are selling you a dream, so to speak.
Yes, sir.
Right? So, I mean, it's real easy to get caught up in that. But for you, having a dad who's been through it, you got the cheat code.
Oh, yeah.
So it feels like you didn't have to go through that.
Nope.
You know, they couldn't sell you a dream. Did you have that understanding going into the process?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, having somebody like my dad, you know, who's been through that process, and, you know, I got friends that I work out with that have been through the process, and that's the main thing. They're saying keep the main thing the main thing. That's the end of the day. But, you know, make sure that what they're telling you is real, and you got to get your eyes on it, because a lot of people can say things over the phone, but you got to get there and see it. And, you know, that was the main thing why I committed to Michigan, because I got to talk to Coach Bellamy on the phone. I got to talk on the phone with Coach Moore. They told me what their plan was, and then I actually got to go see what they were talking about and see what their vision was. And that's kind of, you know, helped me separate some of the schools that were just telling me, oh, this, that, and the third, and to where I can really see it. Because once I get my eyes on it, that sold me. And like I said before, I mean, great coaches here, and that's really what just got me to, you know, come here and be a Michigan man.
Yeah, so you I can tell another thing about you. You know, your grind is different than a lot of guys your age. It's something that's in you, but that has to be put in you. You don't get that just naturally. Somebody put that there.
Yes, sir.
Your parents put that there, right? Now, you know, there's a unique dynamic when you have a parent who has played the game. You know, they understand what it takes to get there, and so they push you different.
Yes, sir.
How has that been? Like, you know, there's a dad hat and a coach hat.
Yeah.
You know, so how has that balance been for you? Because, you know, coach can push you in a way that, you know, that dad, coach kind of pushes a button that dad doesn't always push. Does that line, how has that line been for you guys?
That line's been great. You know, my dad and I have a really great relationship on the field and off the field. He's been my coach up until like I was in 8th grade, and just being able to have that, guy in my corner is just amazing. And that those hats, the coach and the dad hat, he does a pretty good job about keeping them separate. Talk all we need to talk about while we're on the field, and after that, he's the dad, and it's an amazing thing. But sometimes I like the coach hat a little bit more. I like to know what I'm could get some more work on, because a lot of people are going to tell you what you're doing good. Not a lot will tell you what you're doing wrong, and that's what I value about having a dad like that. He'll tell me what I can work on while still giving me like those compliments and giving me like those praises for what I did good, but keeping me level-headed to where I know I'm not somebody who can get drafted right now out of high school, where I'm still just a person that makes mistakes, and that he's still developing me.
Do you guys have to be intentional about it? Because I know I've talked to so many guys whose dads are like that, whose dads played and are their coaches, and they have to be like, hey man, call me coach when we're on the field or on the court. I'm coach. Just so that line is very clear. When we're not in this arena, now I'm dad. So, we know that we're talking in different terms. Do you guys have to do it like that?
No. I mean, I sort of got a problem. I call all my friends, because all my friends' dads, all coached me at one point, and I always call them Coach Rudy, Coach Odette. So it's really, I put coach in front of everything to kind of just even it out. And I say, hey Dad, what do we see right here? What do we see right here? And he never corrects me with it, but it's usually I just call everybody coach.
All right.
Everybody's coach before their name.
I got you. All right, so let's talk about your game, Jaylen. For people who haven't seen you do your thing, and most Michigan fans probably watch your tape by now, but let's pretend they haven't. Break down your game. Tell them what they will see when they watch Jaylen Pile on film.
You're going to get an explosive receiver and an every down receiver, somebody who's got probably the best hands in the country. We don't drop passes out here in Texas. And, that's kind of been instilled in me when I was younger. Like I said before, when I was younger, I was catching everything. Like when you throw it my way, either I'm coming down with it or nobody else is coming down with it. So they getting somebody who's, every time they catch a ball, we trying to take 5-yard stops to the house. You know what I'm saying? Every catch for me wants to be a highlight. I've been averaging like 20 yards since I got in high school, since I've been young. So you're going to get a first down out of me every catch. And, just being like that explosive guy who they can call on in those big-time situations, that's all you can really ask for, as a person. When everybody, is so confident in your game and your skill, that they can look at you and be like, oh, yeah, we're going to give you the ball. And even the other team knows you're getting the ball, and they're still throwing it to you because they know you're going to make a play, and that's who they're getting. That's the Jaylen Pile you're getting. Are
there guys that you watch or that you study?
Oh, of course. I like to keep it, different aspects of the different game. I like to watch, Odell Beckham, his quick twitch releases, Devontae Adams releases, deep down the field, Justin Jefferson, his route running, strong hands for Jamar Chase. Really, I watch more the, newer guys. I used to be a big Calvin Johnson guy because I was bigger when, we were younger, so I would be, throw it up, let me get it. Randy Moss, those types of guys. And, seeing these new guys, because the new DBs are studying the new DBs and not the old DBs. So, trying to just keep up with, what's popping right now. And, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, all like those guys like that are coming in and, making huge impacts. That's really who I'm studying.
I got you. All right, so now let's go inside of Michigan. You've been on campus and you started to get to know Coach Lindsey and this offense. You told me a little bit about what you think about Coach Lindsey, the guy. Give me your early impressions of his offense. I mean, what kind of sticks out to you, and what have you noticed at watching in practice? What stands out to you about this offense so far?
So really what stands out to me is when he came down to the school, he sat me and my family down and, talked about, the first couple weeks, we going 5 wide and let's see who can get open, who can, create separation, and who can, be that type of route runner that we see and that is going to be on TV on Saturdays. So, and the way he, calls those plays, it's very, receiver friendly. Very receiver friendly. Michigan's always going to be known for, having that strong O-line, having those strong running backs. And they were previously known for being, wide receiver. My boy, Coach Soup, got to talk to him yesterday. He was bringing up some of the past. Got to watch Coach Bellamy's highlights. And, seeing those Michigan greats, and that's what we want to bring it back to. And that's, why I'm here, because that's what I want to do with the school. And that's what I want to see. And that's what Coach Lindsey wants too. And watching from that practice, the receivers were getting open.
Yeah.
A lot of, vertical threats, quick twitch guys. And, it's like that thing I said before, you can tell me everything in the world, but when I see it, I'm locked in forever. And I truly believe that's what it's going to look like next year. And, they're going to bring back at least one 1,000-yard receiver every year. And, that's something I want to be a part of, and that's something I truly believe will happen.
Yeah, he wasn't lying. They did. I mean, Marquise Walker, Dave Terrell, Braylon Network, all those guys, 1,000 yards every year.
Yeah.
They were pulling them down. And so as you sort of watched practice, I mean, I know it's early, but did you see guys getting separation? I mean,
oh man, that was my favorite part of practice: 1-on-1s and 7-on-7. You have you seen a Michigan practice before?
Yeah.
So they have a lot, it's a lot of moving around, and it's a lot of competition. And that's where I feel like I thrive in. And, seeing those guys, go up and get the ball in 1-on-ones, everybody elevating each other, getting a little chippy out there. And that's honestly like what kind of is selling me each and every day, like those good, battles that they got out there. And those guys are creating a lot of separation. And those DBs we got some good DBs out there, and we got some pretty good receivers out there.
Okay.
So it's a good battle, and you can see who's really working.
So there's no one play or no one player that sort of caught your eye, like, oh man, that impressed me.
One boy that caught my guy Andrew.
Okay.
Freshman guy coming in, earning his stripes. He was getting busy yesterday. I was around that side. I didn't get to see the other side going. So him, Samaj, who else? My boy Jamar Browder. Those guys are, creating separation. The transfer from Indiana, Donovan McCulley, they were all creating separation, like all these new guys. Because I was kind of, trying to see what these new guys are doing and how they've adapted. So I was on that side, and, they were creating a lot of separation. And, those boys, my boy Andrew, he's from Texas.
Yeah.
So Texas is showing out once again.
Yeah,
and, always got to give flowers for him, because he's a great guy. He's been with me in my recruiting process too. I got to work out with him at the barbecue, and he's a great football player, but an even better person.
Absolutely.
So got to give flowers for him, and he's been doing his thing, and it's gonna be hard to keep him off the field.
Okay. All right. And so quarterbacks, you said that you saw the couple of youngsters in there spinning it. So let's start off with your impressions of one, Mr. Jadyn Davis.
Oh yeah.
What'd you see from Jadyn?
He was launching that thing. I'm not gonna lie. He's taking a major jump from last year. I got to see some of the practices. They were more focused on Davis and Alex, but now it's kind of his time to shine. And him and Bryce have been elevating each other, and Jadyn's been making all the right reads, making some good passes. Everything's coming out quick. It's hitting you right on your face mask. You gotta turn that head around real quick. Any out-breaking route, any comeback, I would advise everybody, if you want to play receiver here, you got to get your head and eyes around quick, because that thing's coming out, and he's putting it right on your face mask every single time. So he's taking a big jump, and I'm excited to see that, because they're pushing each other.
So there's a ton of excitement about Bryce, of course. So
Yes, sir.
First of all, when you saw it unfold that he made the commitment, how did it impact you? What did you think? And then obviously, as you've seen him in practice and you've seen him throw, you've seen his film, your thoughts on him as a player?
So when he committed, I was, I just got out of practice, and all my friends are starting to text me, and we're about to go into film right before like our playoff game. They're texting me. They're like, "Did you just see what happened?" I'm like, "No, what happened?" And they're all just sending me like the Instagram post of Bryce flipping. I was like, "No way." So I'm like, "Okay, yeah, now, okay, something's going down now." So I got on, Instagram, Twitter, and everybody's going crazy, and just seeing him in person, it's 10 times better than what everybody else says. Like, this kid he's a leader. He can spin the ball. And like I said with Jadyn, you better get your head and eyes around, because that thing's coming out quick, and it's coming to a spot every single time. And, both of them being able to be out there with each other and pushing each other, I feel like that's just going to make them even better than what they are right now. And it was only the second practice, and those boys were getting it right. But, seeing his film, dude's huge, I'm not going to lie. looks like Cam Newton. And he's just like 18 or something. I think he's about to turn 18. And he looks like Cam Newton already. So that was just one of the first things I saw. And, he's like I said with Andrew, he's a great football player, but he's an even better person. You know what I'm saying? My little brother got to meet him. He's a cool dude, got to take a picture with him. And he's just a normal kid, just like everybody else. And, I'm excited to see how he, progresses, and excited to see how, they push each other.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to get down and see you get down
Yes, sir.
on the field, man. So I want you to highlight the big games on your schedule, not just for me, but for the fans watching. We got a lot of fans. My man Mike Forward down in Houston, he said, man, you got to come down and go to some games. So
Yes,
if we want to come down and check you out, what are some games we should circle on the schedule?
You know me, I feel like every game's going to be a highlight game for me, to be honest. So any game you want to come down to, I'm going to be making plays. Any game, you're going to see me, taking something to the house. But if I had to highlight some games, we got a game against Fort Worth All Saints. We lost to them last year. So definitely one of those games, I want to play in again. Liberty, we lost to them in state, so that'll be another good game to come back to. And then Prestonwood, we always have good games with them. Lost to them in the regular season, beat them in the playoffs. So those types of games where, it's not just a blowout, like 50 points, but where it's actually, competitive. And that's what I want to see, and that's what I live for.
All right. So this is, as we close, this is shout-out time. So first thing I want you to shout out, or people I want you to shout out, who are you recruiting, Jaylen? And I don't say everybody. I mean, I know you're recruiting everybody, but like your primary, like who are you really, really focusing on?
I got a couple. I mean, my boy Moose, who's just sitting in this chair right here, that's somebody we got to get. Javian Osborne, that's one of my guys. Mason, he's out in Oklahoma. I've been trying to, get him to, come over here a little bit. Who else? Brock Harris, from Utah. Had to talk to him a lot. Who else? Just really any type of receiver, DBs, linemen. Was texting Jackson Cantwell a couple days ago. Just trying to get everybody on board. And it's even better when those guys, someone reach out to me. Zayden Crimpton was where my boy Texas Prosper. Got to get him out here. I think he was here a couple days ago. So just seeing those guys, like they're reaching out to me, talking about like why I chose Michigan, and I just, I could sit here and talk about Michigan for the rest of the day if we had we had the time to. So just being able to share my love for the game and share why I love this place so much, and they're taking it all in, really like being responsive with that, and they're showing interest too, and that's really who I'm recruiting, just guys who want to show interest back to the program. Right.
And then the final shout out is to your family, man.
Of course.
Your circle, the people who helped you get here on this grind, man. You don't do it by yourself
at all.
And it's so special to see them here with you, because it's y'all doing it together. You're doing it big. You're enjoying it together. It's special. And I mean, I'm getting emotional watching it, because it's cool, man. It's really, really cool to see how you guys are on this journey together, man, and you're going to continue to be on it together. And how great has it been for you?
It's been amazing, sharing these opportunities with my family, going to places that I never thought I would be, and just having them next to me, because that's really, at the end of the day, your family's going to be your family regardless of what you do, bad, good, get drafted, don't get drafted. Your family's going to be there for you, and that's somebody, those are those people you kind of want to keep real close to you. And, speaking on like those, those recruiting visits, I mean, I love to talk about my little brother. That's one thing, and y'all are in this game long enough, and interviewing probably in a couple more years, my little brother's gonna be in this exact same spot, and hopefully he'll, pick this Michigan choice too, and kind of make it a family thing. And he's coming with me now, and seeing all these different things and seeing what the coaches are, and just being able to do this with my family just means a lot. Because a lot of people, don't have that type of luxury, and I never take any day for granted with any of them here. And hopefully they'll be able to come to a lot of my games, and just being able to like come see me, and being able to pave that way for my little brother, because that's really all that I'm doing here, making sure that when he comes up, and he's gonna have even more opportunities than what I have, and he's gonna have even more options, even more offers, ranked even higher than me, and just being able to elevate him by me being me.
That's what it's all about, man.
Yes, sir.
Paving the way. Like your dad paved the way for you.
Exactly.
There you go, man.
Make it a generational thing.
We're going to be down to check you out. Looking forward to it. Good luck the rest of the way. Can't wait to make it down to H-Town to see you do it.
Yes, sir.
Jaylen Pile, man, appreciate your time.
Appreciate you having me on here, sir.
Folks, that is another one in the books here on the Michigan Recruiting Insider.